Hey y'all, it's Cody from the Keepers of Nerdom. How y'all doing? I wanted to take a moment and, you know, I have a film playing behind me, background stuff. If you can figure it out, let me know in the comments down below. Uh, I think it would be a really good idea to finally talk about this. Last week we reviewed Pinocchio, and I wasn't super kind to that film, and the more that I have talked about it, the more the reality hits that it's just not a great film. It has issues, and it may not actually live up to all of the beats from the original film. But today I want to talk to you about Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, this is once again directed by Taika Waititi, and you can definitely tell that he has been given free reign over everything in the entirety of this film. That what we've got here is very much a film that is his brainchild, his dreaming, his just rantings and ravings and everything else. And so overall, here's what's funny. Thor: Love and Thunder, and this will have spoilers in it, okay? So just keep that in mind. This film has in the heart, the core of it, a great story. But the problem is that great story is bogged down by a couple things. One, way too much exposition by Taika Waititi himself. He voices Korg, and it's like he likes to have the sound of his own voice because his own voice is in it a ton. And it's just not good. It's not a good thing. The other thing that we see is this, that in fact what we've got is this: way too many laughs, way too many jokes, way too many things going on behind the scenes that you cannot really, it just distracts from everything. So for example, towards the beginning of the film, whenever there's this hint of someone going around and slaying the gods of the film, comes across a good friend, and at first it's like really serious, and she's missing an arm, and you're like, okay, this is going to be really serious. And then they have this conversation of, will I go to Valhalla when I die? And Thor's like, you won't, because the battle's already over. You've lost it. You don't get to have that. And so then Thor goes, but maybe your arm is in Valhalla. Ha 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 ha. And at first I chuckled, but the more I thought about it, I was like, that's a serious issue, because what you've got here is a film that is completely and entirely in a major issue. It has got a problem, a very serious problem. The problem that it has is that it cannot focus in on it focuses too much in on the jokes. It has way too much stuff going on, and it cannot stop and enjoy the seriousness of a moment. It has so many wisecracks and things, and I was laughing. My middle school brain came out for the stupid goats and their obnoxious sound of just screeching, right? Like, it makes sense. You have these issues. But what you've got here is a film that's lacking, because it's just, the story doesn't focus in on things. It tries to be way too funny. It's like they just let Taika Waititi go nuts, and in some interviews, that's what's going on. And unfortunately, it really hampers the idea of this film. That what we've got here is a great idea of seeing Lady Thor, of seeing Valkyrie do her epicness, and Korg be awesome as well, and Thor return to form. But yet it's bogged down by, ironically, laughter and exposition. So two things that are massive changes to this whole situation, right? You've got this serious issue that you're gonna talk for a really long time. Like, Korg talks a lot. And at first I was like, okay, this is fun, I appreciate this. But then he does it again and again. And I think it might be even 4 times where he just stops everything and talks. And then there was agendas towards the end with Korg as well, that unfortunately Disney's going to lose part of their audience with as well. And they didn't need to do it. But it's in this new Disney concept, unfortunately. And so you've got way too much exposition, and then everything has to be funny. Everything has to be a laugh. There cannot be a touching moment. You know, think back to especially the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it ridiculous and funny? Yes. But is it also serious at moments? Yes. And sometimes the laughter comes not from comedy necessarily, but awkwardness. And this just tried to be funny for the sake of being funny, and it lost everything in it. And so this movie, you've got Christian Bale, and he is doing some creepy epic stuff. But the other thing is, we don't actually see him kill all these gods. He starts at the beginning, we get one, and then we just keep getting told he's killing gods. But we don't see it. We never get to see it past the beginning and at the very end when Thor fights him at one point and then Thor fights him again at the very end. Like, that's it. That's what we get. And so we're like, here's big bad. But how do we know? Right? How do we know? Thor Ragnarok, we knew Hela was insane and intense and crazy because we watched her wipe things out. We saw her take things out. That's the reality of it. That's the big thing. And so you need to understand that this film has an issue. It has something wrong with it. And it's really just too much of too many things. Too much of a good thing, if you will. Exposition, you got to be really careful with. But comedy, you're like, no, surely you can't have too much. And in fact, yes, you can. You can go too far and then you lose it because there is some great stuff here. There was a great story in behind the scenes of Thor rescuing Asgardian children. Great stuff. Great concepts. But bogged down by things that didn't need to be in it, by long exposition on things that at best all you needed was someone talking for a second of, yeah, Jane and Thor, they broke up, and it was Jane broke off with a letter. Boom, done. Okay, move on. Instead of a 5+ minute scene or however long it was. I don't even think it was that long, but it felt that long because it was just slow and awkward and jokes at points because Korg is doing the exposition. So Thor Love and Thunder, it's just like Disney as a whole, but really Marvel lately. I have very little to no desire to go and watch the very things that I enjoy, the very things that I care about as comic books, and Marvel's been so good for so long, and now it's just like they've taken off the train off the rails and just let it run freely, and a train without rails doesn't go anywhere very well. It's designed to do a thing, and when you just let it go off of those rails, it loses all focus and all energy. And unfortunately, like, I've gotten to that point where I haven't seen She-Hulk. I barely watched Hawkeye and like Loki's show and some of the other stuff because it just didn't seem interesting. That's where we're at. That's the problem that we face right now. That could you come away from Thor Love and Thunder if you're looking at your phone and go, I love this movie? Yes, you could, because you're not paying attention in the moments where it's constantly weird and awkward and not realizing how many jokes are thrown in because you're paying attention to your phone. But if you pay attention for more than 2 seconds at all, you realize that there are serious problems with this film. And we've heard like from interviews that he had like 4 hours worth of movie that he cut down to this thing. That it's that big of a problem. It's that big of an issue. And it's a disservice to Chris Hemsworth. It's a disservice to Christian Bale. It's a disservice to, my goodness, I can't remember Jane Foster's actress right now. Star Wars. Nope, gone. I don't know. But to everybody that's in it, it really is a disservice. Even to Taika Waititi's Korg, because now I go, not interested. Not interested. It's not good. It's sad and it's frustrating. And I'm like, the minute that we started losing all of our original characters, we knew it had to happen at some point. We get that because the actors get older, da-da-da-da-da. But to be fair also, why? I'm okay with Robert Downey Jr. still getting older and he's wearing an Iron Man suit. The suit takes the brunt of the damage. Oh, what if they did a story where he actually is taking damage and he's getting messed up in the brain? It's almost like We've had comic books about this, like Iron Man The End, where they have this kind of deal that he can't take any more of the beating because it messes with him. That he's gotten that jacked up that he has to be on medicine, and if he goes back into the field again, he could die. We have these things that we should do. There are so many things that they could have done and should have done instead of just letting Taika Waititi run crazy. Instead of giving Marvel over to lower-end producers and directors that don't know what they're doing. And it feels like we're watching a slow train wreck that, ironically, DC's on like a massive quick train wreck all the time, which is sad too, because I want a good Superman movie. I want a good Batman movie. The last good Batman movies really were like the Dark Knight trilogy. Those were amazing. Why? Because they had a great director with a great plan. And again, Christian Bale, right? And other actors that were awesome. And they knew the character. Anytime somebody just goes, oh, the new Batman, it's great, it's fine, it's going to be good. Because, we just accept it. It's just a little different take. It's like, I get it that there are times in the comics where we have different representations of the character. However, you need to stop and recognize that sometimes these characteristics, these things, do not go well. Batman in the newer stuff acts like he's just old and ailing and doesn't really care enough other than, maybe we should save the world. Maybe. I'm getting too old for this. Everything we've ever seen is Batman is going to keep going until he literally has a heart attack in the field and then goes, maybe. But I could use a super suit to try to still do it. Get a clue. If you're going to do something, do it right. Do it well. And unfortunately, Thor Love and Thunder is a perfect example of not doing it well. It fails. And it's heartbreaking because it has so much potential in there. It has the gems of good story, the gems of good concept. Jane Foster dying of cancer. Thor getting back in shape and really questioning, well, who am I now that I'm not even the king of Asgard? Christian Bale wanting to kill all the gods and we don't even see it except for one time. Everything else is shown is off screen. And even the fights with Thor and whatnot. Does anybody die? I mean, like background characters maybe. And even then, I don't know. That's the problem. That's what we face. So, let me know. What are your thoughts about Thor Love and Thunder? What are your thoughts? Because I'm genuinely curious. What do you think about that film? Let me know in the comments below. I'll talk to you later.